Yesterday, a conglomerate of neo-Nazis, white nationalists, and other conservative factions came together in Charlottesville, Virginia to unite the right, specifically to protest the relocation of a Robert E. Lee statue from the newly renamed Emancipation Park. As tensions rose between protesters and counter-protesters, a state of emergency was declared and the crowd was ordered to disperse. Not long after, one of the neo-Nazis decided to use a popular ISIS tactic, driving a car into a crowd of people. 19 were injured and 1 woman was killed. It's hard to find words appropriate for a situation like this. This is terrorism, homegrown terrorism that has been fostered and emboldened by the majority party. There are Nazis in America. Nazis unafraid to show their face in public because their chosen leader is already in office. This is what America is today. Let's hope we can make it better tomorrow. Big news for Disney fans this week, the House of Mouse has finally decided to get into the streaming game. Announced at their quarterly earnings call, the Walt Disney Company will be launching a Disney-branded streaming service in 2019 that'll be the exclusive home for subscription-based video on demand. The new streaming service will draw from Disney's collection of film and television content, along with original movies, TV series, and short-form content developed exclusively for the streaming platform. And of course, theatrical movies will be available as well. So far, the only certain studios providing movie content to the new service will be Disney and Pixar, starting with their 2019 slate. The company is internally debating whether other studios, specifically Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios, will also be included on the platform. It is a possibility, or Disney could continue to license them to Netflix or even develop proprietary services of their own. The new service also means the end of Disney's distribution agreement with Netflix as of 2019, at least for Disney and Pixar films. But hey, Netflix doesn't need Disney in their Marvel movies, they've got Millarworld, which is apparently a thing that exists. Created by Mark Millar to publish his original properties when he's not producing terrible comic book runs for Marvel, Netflix has purchased the company, gaining their 18 franchises with it, which includes Wanted, Kick-Ass, and Kingsman. And speaking of the King, that's not the only big announcement from Netflix this week. Returning to television after his retirement from The Late Show, David Letterman is coming to Netflix for a 6-episode yet-to-be-named talk show set for 2018. Finally, in movie news, Ryan Reynolds tweeted out the first images of Josh Brolin as Cable for Deadpool 2. Staying true to the comic-accurate philosophy, Cable has his metal arm, glowing eye, a possibly excessive number of pouches, and a teddy bear. Over in video games, the Nintendo World Championships are coming back, again. Revived in 2015, the games were absent in 2016, while Nintendo presumably was busy not releasing Breath of the Wild for the Wii U. But now it's 2017 and the games are back on. Starting on August 19th, select Best Buys will host qualifiers as 2 age groups compete in Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS. After the 2-day qualifier, the top contenders will go to New York later this year for the final championship games. And finally, a couple of big updates for Overwatch. Not only have the summer games started, bringing back Lucio Ball and a handful of new summer-themed skins, but even bigger changes are on the way. On the PTR right now is a new game mode, Deathmatch, letting players brawl for pure kill counts in an 8-person free-for-all or 4v4 team matches. To accommodate the new mode, Blizzard is tweaking some of the existing maps for team play and creating a special map for the free-for-all. That brings us to this week's releases, starting in theaters with The Hitman's Bodyguard. A new twist on the buddy cop genre, Ryan Reynolds is a bodyguard hired to protect Samuel L. Jackson, an assassin that's tried to kill him 27 times. Really, can you go wrong here? Also coming up is Logan Lucky. Otherwise known as Redneck Ocean's 11, featuring Kylo Ren, James Bond, and the guy that will never ever ever be Gambit. Meanwhile on television, and let's just blame me missing this one on last week's computer difficulties, but DuckTales has finally arrived on Disney XD. Yesterday. Like, all day yesterday. And it was awesome. And later this week on Netflix, the Defenders finally get together, now to see if 2 years and 5 seasons will actually lead to something good. Over in video games, Sonic Mania arrives at last. On the console, at least. News broke on Friday that the PC version of Sonic Mania has been delayed 2 weeks for very last-minute tweaking, but never fear, Sega has your back. If you pre-ordered Sonic Mania, your Steam code will also unlock the ROM for the original Sonic the Hedgehog, because that's not a game basically everybody that would have pre-ordered Sonic Mania would already have. And speaking of retro games, Night Trap is getting a new release for its 25th anniversary. Spy on a group of teenagers using surveillance cameras and then justify that creepy premise by guiding them away from attacking vampires, all while reliving the horrors of late 80s special effects and fashion. Next up, Defenders of Ekron is... well, it's really just a twin-stick shooter, but it is a pretty nice looking one. And there's also Nidhogg 2. Gameplay looks similar to the sleeper hit, but the graphics have gotten a serious upgrade, jumping from Atari style into something that would make a Super Nintendo choke. Finally on PC, Brood War is back. This week StarCraft goes back to basics with StarCraft Remastered. Expect to see a huge spike in popularity before everybody realizes how balls hard the original game actually was to play. And on the PS4 and Vita, get ready to be filled with determination because Undertale is finally making its way to consoles this week. Wrapping things up with this week's CGBros video, we have Doodle Adventures by Team DD. The animation may be intentionally crude, but it's still a cute watch. And finally, this week's awesome video is a two-parter, starting with Dorkly's guide to all the Game of Thrones deaths leading up to tonight's episode. And if you happen to miss tonight's episode, don't worry, the Warp Zone has a handy guide on what to do to avoid spoilers. That's everything for this week, so what would you like to see in a Disney streaming service? Present your business model in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, pass this video around to your friends, and have a great week!